Still haven't entirely decided what to call this, whether it should be a full disclosure, full transparency, real talk, not sure. We just smack everything. Cupby's back, 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 back again, get. Cupby's back, back, back. Tell a friend. Cupby's back, okay, I went too far. Hello loves, Cuppy here, bringing a real talk. We've had a couple of these before, but this one definitely needed to happen. I am experiencing burnout. I think for the longest time, I didn't want to admit it was happening. I actually think that this burnout has been happening since like right after my folks moved. I have had trouble kind of getting motivation to do stuff. I do think a part of that is ADHD for sure. I had like storyteller's block, writer's block, art block. I wasn't happy with anything I was doing. I'm happy with the stories I have, but stories need to continue, and I'm really like blanking. I feel like today that I'm recording this, literally today, is the first day that I've actually even wanted to talk about it. I ended up talking a lot with hubby about some stories and ideas, and I'm feeling the creativity come back. And I genuinely believe I have my therapist to thank for that. I kind of told her what I was experiencing and that I was scared because I love this. The love has not gone away for it. The love for y'all, the love for the storytelling, the love for the playing games, the love for the characters, none of that has diminished. It's like the motivation is just non-existent. And so she sat with me and she was like, okay, here's what I'm seeing. And I know after I say this, all of y'all that have warned me about this are going to be like, I told you. I know. But she said, you're not setting boundaries with yourself. Because she asked, she's like, do you have a lot of like viewers pulling at you? And I'm like, to a degree, sometimes I feel like I do have a lot of community members, viewers, friends, family pulling at me at all times, but it's really myself that is the biggest problem. I take on too much. And it only got worse after my folks moved out, which yes, you all warned me about. I had more time, and instead of utilizing that time to give myself breaks and to give myself rest, to give myself recharge, I packed on more and more and more. And the thing is that it's not that I couldn't do all those things, it's that it was killing my drive. She kind of said, what would you do if you got so tired of making content? And I was like, well, I guess I would have to go back to working like retail, which I hate. Like, I was really good at retail. This might sound sleazy, but yeah, I could sell like ice to Eskimos in bulk. I was really good at it. I was a good salesperson. I was good at stocking. I was good at decorating. I was really good at retail, but I hated every second of it. I hated it. It was not what I really wanted to do. I felt like it was time taken away from my real passion. She was like, well, if you don't set boundaries and give yourself those times to have breaks, then you may be facing a day where you're so miserable at doing this that you think that that retail job might not look so bad. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want that. No. It was kind of an ultimatum sort of thing, but also not. But it really helped because I don't want to go back to that life. I love this. My love, like I said, has not diminished. It's just the drive because I took on too much. And I'm really bad at asking for help. It's something I've always been bad at. I am starting to realize through this whole journey of content creating, I am learning things about myself I never knew. I'm a little more of a control freak than I thought. Gasp, Cuppy's a control freak. What? I guess I am. I think a lot of the times I don't ask for help because I know that I will only do it the way that I want it done. But that is wrong because then I'm putting too much on myself. And I need to not be afraid that if somebody takes on a project and I don't like the way that they did it, that it's okay for me to say, let's do it this way instead. I'm just petrified of hurting somebody's feelings. I'm a people pleaser by heart. I want to make people happy, even people that don't necessarily deserve my best. I feel like I have to make them happy. Probably comes from some deep-seated childhood trauma. My parents were amazing, by the way, but it probably actually came from my previous relationship. But I have that. I have to please everybody. And that's literally impossible. So many things that I've learned through this. I wanted to share it with you. Sorry that it was like chaos and rambling. But in conclusion, I realized that I do need to set boundaries for myself. Y'all aren't putting this on me. Y'all have literally yelled at me and told me to take breaks. Y'all have congratulated me when I said I was taking a break. Like literally, y'all like threw a party in Discord when I said I was taking a break. That says something. There's a couple things that may change in the schedule, like I may not do daily post. That's not to say that I won't post. I'm just saying there might be a day or two out of the week that doesn't have a video, and that needs to be okay. Or I might do less days of streaming 1 week out of the month, just to give myself a week where I have a little less work and can catch up on other things. Because when I was going through like the crux of the burnout this last week, I wasn't even working on my house, which is what I intended to do, by the way. Like I took this whole week and a half off to get my house put back together and to do adult stuff. And literally, guys, I had days where I just sat at the computer and did absolutely nothing. And I was even avoiding Discord, and it had nothing to do with y'all. It was that I was so petrified by the guilt that I wasn't working. I was afraid to face anybody. Like, it's genuinely laughable, the things I would tell myself. This is why I'm in therapy. And this is why I highly encourage others to get therapy. Like, please don't be afraid of getting therapy. Even if you find a therapist and they're kind of crap. Like, my first therapist, all I did was feel like I was complaining to them. But my current therapist, like, she's so cool because she gives me other scenarios that she's been through to help me figure out what I'm going through. It makes me feel less crazy, which is great. I think before, when I had talked about this, I was trying to control my schedule rather than make my schedule open. And that's where I failed. And so that's the difference from last time that I kind of talked about this to now. Instead of taking on more projects, I'm going to finish the ones that are in front of me, and I might spread it out, meaning things might take longer. You know, I had talked about this earlier in the year, knowing that things might take longer, but then I just added more stuff. This is all just me kind of speculating on how I want things to look in the future, as I do want Minecraft to come back. I still have a desire to bring WolfQuest back. I haven't worked on it as hard as I would like to. So I'm going to change that, but I think while I'm working on it behind the scenes, I'm going to be playing something else. And you guys got a little sneak peek of that just recently with a short that I did. So I want Minecraft to come back on Mondays, Minecraft Mondays. I love ClanGen. I don't want to stop playing ClanGen. And ClanGen videos are actually really easy for me to record. They flow really easily. The story comes to me really easily. I haven't really had any troubles with that at all. ClanGen is going to stay. So I still want to do Tuesdays and Thursdays ClanGen stories. I think what I'm struggling with is just finding something I really want to do on Fridays. And so I think I'm just going to leave Fridays open. So I was leaving Mondays open. I'm going to switch it to Fridays. That just may not have a video. If I have extra content, bam, there'll be a video. If I don't, there won't be a video, and that's okay. There'll still be a stream on Fridays. And then as for the WolfQuest stuff, so here's where we get to the wolf talk part of this, which is what I really intended this to be, not a like confession of a cuppy. It was supposed to be a wolf talk. I was going to do like this whole thing where I wrote bios for every single wolf pup with stories and background and blah, blah, blah. And like, we have got so many wolf pups. I must have been insane. I literally logged on to WolfQuest and I would type in the pack names and I would see all the pups, and I legit panicked. I saw them all and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And also, how do I fit them into the story? It was too much. It really was. And I hope that this doesn't disappoint you. when I say that we're not going to go that route this time. I've been thinking about Charm, and I've been thinking about Steigander. We need a bad guy, and Steigander is the perfect choice, and I have been in my head developing this amazing story for him of why he's so bad. Charm plays into that without giving too much away. And so I was going to do this beautiful vote of who do we play, and I have decided that instead of asking for a vote, I am simply going to play both of them for our story. Because the story ultimately is what's so important. Yes, of course, the characters make the story great, but these are great characters. And I believe with my storyteller brain that playing them is going to make this story amazing, where we do finally have a conclusion-ish to the Snagglefang Pack's story arc. We may continue playing them in the future. I do still want to play Kiba when the saga actually comes out to take the pups to Tower of Hall. I really want to do that. I do want their story arc to come to an end so that somebody else's story arc can rise up. I know that may scare some of you, like, gasp, the Snagglefang Pack is going to come to an end. The pack itself, no, just the story. Now, Steigander to me is the big one where I'm like, do I play him? Do I not? Is he the type of wolf to have a family? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yes, but not for the right reasons. So I was brought back specifically to Warrior Cats a little bit and thinking about Broken Star and how he trained kits too young, and it was bad business. But in some ways, that type of mentality is very similar to Steigander. He wants to build an army. And maybe his first choice isn't having pups to build an army. His mind is so darkened that he would have pups to help build an army against Crevice Lake. And so we're going to play him. And it's going to be a hard playthrough. Because usually when we're playing, we're trying to keep pups alive. We're doing everything we can to make them powerful, strong, noble, loving, sometimes merciful wolves. And we're going to be playing essentially a villain. We've never really played a villain, except Charm was kind of borderline, right? She was right there. Like, in her mind, she was justified in what she was doing. She was getting vengeance. Borderline villain. That's usually how villains start. They think they're doing the right thing. And then it goes just a little too far. I genuinely can't remember if I mentioned this in a Wolf Talk before, which I probably should have watched through just to see. But Calum does leave her. After Charm gives the collar, Aspen's collar, away to her son Acer, she thinks that she's going to be able to let it go. Even after everything she did, there was like a moment of peace where she felt like, I did get vengeance. I can let it all go. I have risen above the tragedy. And it was good for a little bit. And Calum stepped away, kind of making distance from her, saying, I did things I'm not proud of. And the distance that Calum gives Charm is ultimately what derails her again. So in her mind, it was vengeance. An eye for an eye sort of thing. He starts to realize that doesn't quite add up. Aspen was a bit of a bully, trying to make a point. He wanted to show that he was worthy of being the king of the Snagglefang Pack, and his way of doing that was trying to show up the most dangerous pack in Slough Creek. He was so driven by the ambition to prove that he could be king that he went to murder. Sure, wolves from humans are very different. Wolves kill other wolves all the time, whether it's a territory thing, whether it's to protect family members, whether it's over food. It happens. But in Aspen's case, he was trying to show them up. So was it necessary to kill that other wolf? Sure, he was protecting himself and Charm, but he could have also just run away. Crevice Lake, the way that I have painted them, as they are not a good pack. They are vengeful and spiteful, and they have no problem killing other wolves. However, does that mean that our pack should stoop so low? Well, Aspen did. And this cruel and hateful and spiteful and vengeful pack took their own vengeance by killing him and his pups. And so Charm continued the cycle of violence. And she went and she got the ultimate vengeance. Not only did she kill more than one wolf, she backed Crevice Lake out of Slough Creek altogether. And so they're angry. And so now Caleb is seeing all of this, and he's realized that not only have they essentially painted the biggest red target on their back that they could possibly paint, but that he did things that he didn't really want to do. He's not happy with his decisions, and so he leaves, and it sets her back quite a bit. She cannot bear being by herself. Her children are gone because they kind of agree with Caleb. Most of them do anyway. She has no mate, she's lost the love of her life, and she never really could get over the pups that she lost, which was another problem that Caleb had, always telling her, you have a whole litter of pups that you've raised that are alive and they're right in front of you, and all you can think about is the pups you don't have. And that hurt him a lot. It hurt some of their pups, feeling a little bit like second class in comparison to the pups that didn't live into adulthood. I didn't really want Charm to disappear. She was still kind of an important character, and so I'm going to bring her back. She is going to have another series. I'm not going to give anything away, but I have plans for her series. It's going to be good. And this will be kind of her right after Caleb. She is going to essentially have another chance in another map. Yes, she's going to go to Lost River. My reasoning for her going to Lost River is because she cannot bear to be in Slough Creek, because it always reminds her of Aspen and the pups she lost. She doesn't want to go back to Amethyst Mountain because that's where she met Aspen and she has memories there too. So she is going to travel and run into this mysterious place that some of our other wolves have run into or come from, and she's going to start over there and give herself a final chance to make her life right, to be set on the right path. And that playthrough will determine where she stands at the end of our story arc when the big climax finally happens. Now, Stygander is going to be a little bit in a different timeline because he would have still been a puppy by the time that Charm did this. So this will be a little bit later. But he is going to start building his army in Lost River. They're all going to be in Lost River in different timelines because I think Willow is also in a completely different timeline. Speaking of which, I need to get a timeline put together. Unless somebody wants to help me with that, which I would love, like doing like the family tree thing where you've got like Kiba and Bane, first year goes down, second year, or I guess it would be, technically it's the third year because they're two when they start. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's so troublesome. But it needs to be done. Otherwise, the stories are not going to make sense. So we're going to have like wolves that should still be pups when stuff are happening. It's just chaos. Complete chaos. But that's what I'll work on. That's what I'll work on this. I'm sorry if you feel like I took the power away from you when I said we weren't going to do polls. But I'm genuinely asking you to trust me as the storyteller, that I know where I want this to go, and I think you're gonna love it. At least I hope you do, genuinely. All of the pups from previous litters are not lost. We may bring them back into a separate story arc, where we still have Snagglefang pups, but they're doing something completely different somewhere else. Or we've got Seraph's pups doing something completely different somewhere else. Maybe by the time we finally finish this story arc, the saga will be out and we can just go crazy. That's what I'm hoping for, honestly. WolfQuest devs, let's do it. Let's do it. Timing. We got this. We got this. Anyways, thank you all for letting me ramble and letting me share with you my struggles. I kind of played around with the idea of how open I should be with my channel. Should I be like so open about my own mental chaos? And I'm like, yeah, I want to be genuine. I want to be open. I want to be transparent. I'm a real human being with real struggles and real problems, and why should I hide that from you guys? I'm not going to tell you everything, obviously, because Honestly, you probably don't want to know. But I do. I want to just be myself with you. And part of me is living every day with this mental struggle and just working through it. And I just hope that sometimes these talks might help you if you're going through something. Knowing that there are ways to get through it. You're not the only one. That's the other one. And that there's a whole community of folks out there wanting to help be there for you. Just don't forget that. That was the other really, really big thing that I saw through all of this, is just how loving and open and caring the community is. It's crazy. I never thought I would have a group of people come together and just be as loving as y'all are. Now that this is done, I'm going to get to work on story building, and I'm really, really excited, y'all, about getting into the story. A final note, Saturday's episode will not be a Mikhail episode. It will either be another wolf talk, or we will start the new series with either Charm or Steigander. Willow will still continue, don't worry. All right, well, thank you all for watching. Definitely, if this helped you in any way, or you just enjoyed listening to me chaotically ramble, please tickle and poke the like button. It at least lets me know that I didn't open my heart out on a platter for no reason. Also, join the family. Join this family of loving, compassionate people that have come together. And feel free to come in with your own chaos and just be a part of the party. Don't forget to ring the bell. You're definitely going to want to be notified when I start the new WolfQuest series. And join Discord. Just make sure you are at least 13 years of age as per Discord terms of service. Oh, and Twitch. Follow me on Twitch for more content. Best outro ever. Let's go. Okay. Anyways, I missed you guys. I love y'all so much. Thanks for watching my chaos. And I will see you tomorrow for a Willow Clan episode. Bye. Toodaloo. See ya. Awoo.